Hello everyone and welcome back to the Angels franchise. The Angels are a surprising 21-13, only a game back of the Rangers in the AL West, and currently one of the top two teams in the AL wild card alongside division rival the Houston Astros. Generally speaking, the AL West has been maybe the best division in baseball this season, but it is also still just way too early to draw any conclusions yet. In the last episode, you guys gave some comments about the idea of trading Trout, and it is still pretty split. A lot of you want Trout gone for a few different reasons. One, to help us get good prospects while he's still worth a good amount, and two, to free Mike Trout of Anaheim, a place he's been locked into for his entire career that has just failed him time and time again. He is currently on the 10-day IL. He should be back within the next few days, but he is regressing pretty significantly so far this season. His stats are actually pretty solid as well, so it is truly just an age thing most likely at this point. He has dipped below 90 overall, and soon enough he will not be the highest rated player on the team. Neto will likely take that over. But then the majority of comments I saw were pretty adamant about keeping Mike Trout. He has claimed time and time again that he does not want to leave Anaheim and that he'd like to retire an Angel. And I would like to respect that decision for the most part. I have also changed my game entry conditions. I've made it earlier in the games at the 5th inning instead of the 7th, and slightly less high importance of situation. I don't necessarily want to hop into 102 games, but it'll be nice to see more variety when it comes to the situations we will hop into. Whereas most recently, it feels like these game entry conditions have mostly just been putting us in the 9th inning with Ben Joyce. Just feels like a lot of that over and over again. In the last episode, we also found our favorite prospects. I'm leaning towards taking Eric J at number 9 overall. He is our draft rank number 5, MLB number 23, and is just a very well-rounded player. Wish the contact was a little bit better, but he's a great fielder with good power. But then there's also Juan Chavez, a starting pitcher from the Central region that we recently discovered, and he is extremely well balanced down the board. Only thing that's a little concerning with him is that walks per 9. And here is his pitch mix. He throws a 4-seamer, a slider, a changeup, and a splitter. I think that the play is honestly to try to get Eric J with that 9th overall pick, and then we get Juan Chavez in the 2nd round. I did see one comment saying that he likely will not be there in the 2nd round, but I think it's worth the risk. He's not ranked. There's a chance other teams haven't discovered him, meaning that it's significantly more likely that he falls to the 2nd than it is that Eric J falls to the 2nd. And I am personally of the opinion that starting pitcher is not as much of a need as third base these days. We've got a few promising prospects: Caden Dana, Dave Williams, Adam Kloffenstein, and a few others, whereas at third base we have nothing. There's Cutter Coffee, who might be okay, and then Brian Julio, but Brian Julio will not be MLB ready until maybe 5 years out at earliest. So I think finding a guy who's a bit higher overall, like Eric J, would be really good for this farm system. He can also play shortstop if needed. This week, though, we will still be discovering new outfield prospects internationally this time. We're scouting center fielders. I would still like to find that true defensively elite center fielder of the future for this team. So going to start scouting more and more of those, and then we're back on scouting starting pitching. So let's get back into the simulation. I want to get a chunk of the season out of the way. We may even sim all the way up to the MLB draft, but it will heavily depend on how the team is performing, because if we continue to play very well, I might slow the season down a bit and we can hang out with this team a little bit more and see if we can make a little bit of a playoff push. But for now, let's continue the simulation. Can we sweep the Braves? No, we do lose 7-2. Now a series versus the A's, a team that we have consistently dominated, and we've got an opportunity to step in the 5th with Gabriel Arias. So this is more what I was looking for. We can step in with guys that maybe we don't see quite as often. Arias with a runner in scoring position and another runner on first. Looks at strike 1. Halos down 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 gone in the inning. And that will be ball 1 for Arias. Grounder back up the middle, but the throw is on to 2nd, and that'll end the 5th inning. Arias cannot tie this one up. So the Angels can't manage to get a victory. A loss for John Means, giving up only the 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts is honestly a decent performance from him. just couldn't get it done offensively. Probably missing Trout a little bit in that regard. Zach Neto's struggles, by the way, are continuing. He is batting a 1.57 right now. So a series lost to the Athletics. We fall to 21-16, and we have now lost 4 straight, scoring 1 only in 3 in a row. And one of our center fielder prospects, Nelson Rada, has just fractured his wrist. He will go on the 60-day injured list. So now we open up a series against the Red Sox with a 5th loss in a row, and immediately to start this episode, things are collapsing. Mike Trout, though, now no longer injured as we catch a dub and also get offered a trade from the Cubs. Everyone wants Luis Torrens. Do we bite the bullet and just trade the guy away? Well, they're offering us Christian Franklin, a center fielder. He's a decent fielder, though really not any better than anybody we already have. He's only 26, though. Let's go take a closer look. Christian Franklin's true potential is a 76. He is currently rated at a 68. And to be honest, I think he just gives us the same problems our outfield already has. He's an okay fielder with okay speed, and it looks like his bat is all right, specifically against righties. But I'm not looking for okay fielding. If I'm going to make a trade for a center fielder, it's going to be somebody with elite fielding. So a win against Boston snaps the losing streak. And we did also just get Mike Trout back in the lineup, and we will immediately plug him back in to his normal spots. And with our scouting for this week, we did learn a lot more about Pablo Sainz, a center fielder with incredible speed, though the fielding is not there. However, he has jumped way up our draft ranks, and it never hurts to take a guy like this late in the draft. So definitely somebody we could keep an eye on. Nobody else is super intriguing at the moment. So now with Trout back in the lineup, can we catch a win versus Boston? We do. We will actually win the series, right the ship a little bit. And now what should hopefully be a free series win against the Rockies, one of the consistently worst teams in baseball. And in the first game, there's an opportunity to hop in with Mike Trout in just his 2nd game back from the minor injury. He didn't even need to go on the 10-day injured list. I just elected to do so while he was injured. And now Trout swinging and missing at the slider. An opportunity to take the lead here in Colorado. Trout to second, lining up the double play nicely, and does get doubled up here. 2 gone in the inning. And Joe Adell is going to pop out just 1 batter later. Goodness gracious. Sometimes this baseball team doesn't like to hit. So now we'll jump into the bottom of the 9th, looking to keep it tied so we can head to extras. It's Moretta on the mound. Brenton Doyle, one of the few bright spots on this Rockies team, at the plate, and he leaves that hanging slider alone, thank goodness. As a runner on first, Doyle swings over top of the circle change. He'll ground this onto second. Doyle's going to be a tough guy to double up. Neto, the throw to first. Doyle just too fast. So 2 gone in the inning. Couldn't quite turn 2. And we'll see if we can get out of this one with 1 more batter. And it's Nolan Jones, who in this universe did not get stupidly traded back to the Guardians. If you guys don't know, I am a Rockies fan, and I genuinely did not understand that trade in the slightest. 2-0 count for Nolan. Looks at strike 1 in there. Looks at strike 2 right on the edge. Moretta dealing. Nolan is fouling these pitches off, and a lot of them have been really good. That last circle change was painted. Still got fouled. See if we can get him with the low fastball. He hacks at that, but he still gets a piece. Swing and a miss over the circle change, and Moretta gets out of the inning. And we will head to extras. Top 10 now. Taylor Ward having another excellent season. Still one of the best bats on this team, which is only increasing his trade stock. Has, of course, that ghost runner on second. This has popped a mile high to left, and that is not going to be able to advance Joe Adell. So unfortunately, 2 gone in the inning. Willie Castro 2 for 3 on the day, though not having his best season. See if he can bring the runner around. That one is right down the middle, but he hits it straight to Ryan McMahon, and that will end the top part of the 10th. So the Rockies with an opportunity to walk it off in the bottom half of the inning. It'll be Aaron Ashby on the mound. He will face Michael Toglia. I believe that is Nolan Jones on second. He is not slow. See if Ashby can work some magic, and immediately no. First pitch swinging for Toglia, and the Rockies are going to walk away victors in game 1 of the 3-game series. Nolan Jones around to score, and a Rockies W. Moreta is actually the man who gets credited with that loss, despite having a good 2 2/3 innings. Never a good sign when you're losing to Colorado, but we do take game number 2 3-1. Another win for Jack Kahanowicz's, actually his first win on the season thus far. His numbers have still been pretty good. And we do have another Ben Joyce save opportunity coming right up. And he is facing Lee Pike, who is a rookie actually, and a really, really good one at that. He's a 74 overall immediately, only 21 years old. He was drafted in the first round last year. He is a horrible fielder, really bad, not particularly fast, but I mean, look at those hitting numbers. Contact solid, power's really good, discipline is high, vision is high, clutch is 51, could be better, but it's not bad for being 21 years old. Looks like the Rockies have really hit on a corner outfielder here. Really interesting prospect. Not a guy that I would particularly go after, as I really tend to value a lot of defense. That is crushed high and deep to right. I think it's foul, however. Goodness, got to be careful with this kid. Ben Joyce protecting a 1-0 lead. Grounder onto second. Pretty easy play for Nicky Lopez. Joyce has now worked an 0-2 count versus Ryan McMahon. Let's go high and inside with the heat. And we plunked him. Of course we plunked him. So now a runner on first for Estrada. That is right down the middle, Ben. We got to relax with that. Ben struggling with control right now. 3-1 for Estrada. Drew Romo on deck. That is on to Shonowell at first. On to Neto. Back to Shonowell. 3-6-3 puts this game away. And it's a save for Ben Joyce. So the Angels do end up taking the series in Colorado 2-1. I am starting to see more and more hits from Neto in these box scores, which is nice to see. Average climbing back closer to 200. Trout with a couple hits in this one. Joe Adell with a couple hits, still having an okay season. So the simulation continues. The White Sox offering us a trade. Bryce Wilson for Cutter Coffee. You know, I don't think it's an unreasonable deal from the White Sox, but it doesn't really make sense for us at the moment, especially considering that Bryce is just a loner. A loss to the Padres, who are 15-30. Man, the Padres really struggling this year. We're 25-20, so still about 5 games over 500, and now an opportunity in the bottom of the 6th for Aaron Ashby. We saw Aaron just a moment ago actually throw a sinker to Michael Toglia, who put it in the gap for a Rockies walk-off victory. Let's see if he can do a little bit better this outing. The 2-2 pitch on its way. The 12-6 curve. He does take a hack at it. Lopez charging it, and on to Neto at second. And that'll end the 6th inning. Not bad for Aaron Ashby. Got weak contact and got out of it. Now in the next inning, he's got himself in a pickle once again. Runners on the corners, only 1 gone. So as long as it's not a double play, anything hit into the infield would score a run most likely. They're trying to steal home with a bunt, but it's not working. And if he's going to keep trying to bunt it, we'll just make him chase out of the zone, hopefully. Now you got Ashby getting tired here. He swings at that in the dirt. We throw into first even though we didn't need to. But man, that was way down there and he hacked at it. But with Ashby tired, we're going to make the change. We're going to keep it lefty because Machado a little bit worse against lefties. It's going to be Victor Gonzalez coming on. 9 innings pitched with a 9 ERA so far this season. He's been really bad against left-handed batters. Faces Manny Machado. Maybe not the player he once was, but still a dangerous bat. Back up the middle for Machado, and he is going to tie this game up with a weak grounder. Moniak gets it back in as quickly as he can, but it is 2-2 now here in San Diego. Just trying to limit the damage now for Victor Gonzalez. That run, of course, credited to Ashby. Soft grounder, Neto charging. Luckily for us, Campusano is not particularly quick. That'll end the 7th, but it's a tie ball game. Man, every inning, this bullpen is putting runners on the bags. 1 gone, 2 on for Xander Bogaerts. Still Victor Gonzalez on the mound. Would love a double play ball here if we can get it from Victor. That one is a little high for the slider. 3-2 pitch from Gonzalez. On its way, it misses low. He walks, the bases loaded. And that will end Victor Gonzalez's day. We're going to bring on a righty to face Connor Joe. And that righty is Connor Brogdon, who, unlike Gonzalez, has had a very solid year. 1.4 ERA for him, and his numbers against right-handed batters are incredible. Hoping Brogdon can work a double play for us. That is not a great sight, seeing him miss badly on the first one. 2-1 count now for Brogdon. That is a well-placed fastball. Connor Joe fouls it off. Full count now for Brogdon. Could walk the leading runner home. Pitch on its way. That's called ball 4, and it costs us a run. Perfectly painted on the inside corner. I thought Angel Hernandez retired. I mean, you just can't make this up. San Diego takes the lead off of an absolutely horrendous call from the ump. Sometimes the baseball gods just do not want you to win. Brogdon on to second. Can we turn 2? No. Another run will come around to score. I don't even blame Brogdon for this. He should be out of it with a tie game. That call now costing us 2 runs at this point. Brogdon having to continue, and that should also be a strike as it touches the plate. That one a little bit more forgivable of a missed call. Lopez onto this one. And we are done with the 8th inning. Should have been 2 batters ago. Should still be 2-2, but instead, the Angels bats have some work to do. But they couldn't get it done. San Diego will win this one 4-2 off of a bad missed call. And the Angels end up getting swept by the Padres. So we have fallen back down to earth. We're still within striking distance of everyone in the AL West, but rather than being in second, we have now dropped back down to 4th, where we will likely remain. We're 4-6 in our last 10. It's kind of an important series here against Houston, and we've got a chance to jump in here in the 8th. Miguel Castro nursing a 1-run lead. Jeremy Pena at the plate. That is grounded onto Arias, playing second today, and that'll be out number 2 in the inning. Runner advances to 3rd. Anthony Volpe, now an Astro after a trade made last season. This is popped way up behind the dish. Torrens should have no problem with it, and that will get Castro out of the 8th. But somehow we blow the game anyway. 4-3 is the final for the Astros. Must have been a blown save from Ben Joyce if I had to guess. Ben Joyce unable to record an out in this one, allowing 3 hits and 2 earned runs. For what it's worth, that was Ben's first blown save on the entire season. He's now 16 for 17, so I'll cut him a little bit of slack. Series continues against Houston. We take a dub in game number 2, and now in game number 3, we're jumping in with Mike Trout. 0 for 3 so far in this one. Runner in scoring position. There's a man on second, man on first. Trout got one to hit that actually goes under the glove of the 3rd baseman. On his way to the plate, throw is not in time, and Nicky Lopez will score from second. Mike Trout with an RBI single. And now Houston going to be changing pitchers after that. So now Joe Adell with the exact same situation. 2 on, 2 out, runner in scoring position. That is left right down the middle. Opposite field power for Joe Adell. Can that get over the short wall? And it does. A 3-run shot for Joe Adell. 376 feet for Joe. His 8th homer on the season will take the lead here for the Angels in the divisional matchup. 4-2 now, Halos. Fast forward, same game. It's the top of the 9th. Ben Joyce looking to not blow another save. He's already a little bit tired. Runner on first, runner on second. He faces Jose Altuve. Can Joyce get out of this one? It's a little blooper. Can Joe Adell maybe throw out the runner at 3rd who held up at second? No, the throw is not in time. And that is a little bloop base hit for Jose Altuve. Bases loaded now. Do we consider maybe taking Joyce out? We're going to leave Joyce in. We don't have any righties available in the bullpen right now. Gonna just need Joyce to clutch up if he can. That is gonna get down and right though, and Joe Adell misplays it. It's past his glove. Mickey Moniak now chasing it down, and that's gonna take the lead for the Houston Astros. What an error from Joe Adell. Just went right past his glove. It's almost like he never saw the ball. And that's going to count as a triple for Laureano. Ben Joyce back-to-back blown saves now. Though that one was obviously not helped by his defense. We'll bring in Jose Quijada to hopefully just get out of the 9th. This is high and deep from Diaz. Taylor Ward going to try to rob a homer, and he can't do it. Quijada faces one batter and allows a home run. This bullpen, thought we improved it a lot in the offseason, but it is failing us. And time again, Jose Quijada has been bad. But somehow, some way, the Angels come back to walk it off. I decided to just sim the rest of the game. I figured it was over, but we win it. I don't know how this happened. I won't make that mistake again. Instead, I'll do a quick manage and see how these things happened. I just figured it was over. But the Angels find a victory where I had no hope. Looking to win the 4-game set versus Houston, who, by the way, going into that game, were tied with the Rangers and the Mariners at the top of the division. The Reds are offering us Brady Singer for Mickey Moniak. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would take this trade. This feels like a very obvious win for me. I'm trying to deal Moniak. For realism's sake, I don't think there's a world where the Reds would do this. Why would they want Mickey Moniak? Every single one of their outfielders is higher rated than Mickey, and this is their 5th highest rated starting pitcher. Just makes no sense. We might need to make some changes with pitching. Particularly, our bullpen has just been so bad. Miguel Castro was one of our bigger signings in the offseason, and he has just been horrendous. He's coming off of a really good season with Houston, 2.55, 111 for ERA and WHIP, but it has a 7.77 ERA with us. And another guy that's just been absolutely atrocious is Victor Gonzalez. He does have a minor league option left to be used. He has only pitched 9 innings as well. He does not see the field a ton. In fact, a lot less than really any of our other relievers, but he's just been so horrible in the situations he's been given. Our starting pitching, on the other hand, has been relatively decent. Lucchese's WHIP is a bit high for our liking, obviously. Means has been solid. Soriano has been solid. Detmers has still been pretty bad. Kahanowicz's continues to be arguably our best pitcher. Look at his numbers from last year. I mean, they're not elite by any means, but that's a good quality starter that you can put in there confidently. And this year, he's even better. If there were a player that we were going to give a potential boost to for our team, I think it would absolutely be Jack Kahanowicz. And then Chase Silseth continues to be bad. Because of Victor's continued struggles, we are going to be designating him for assignment, and then we're going to outright him to AAA and attempt to pass him through waivers. I anticipate that he will not make it through waivers as a left-handed pitcher with a 72 overall, but he has just continued to be poor for us. He's 30 years old, and while he is still improving, that probably won't last too much longer. I know left-handed pitching can kind of be a hot commodity, but right now our best pitchers are lefties, I feel like. So I actually kind of want another righty up at the majors, and that man is going to be Hans Kraus, who at AAA so far this season has nearly 20 innings pitched and is yet to allow a run. And don't worry, I do have Jason Emerson in the back of my mind. He is maybe our best draft pick from this last draft class. It's probably either him or Dave Williams. He's pitched 15 innings at AAA so far, and he's been really good. 1.8 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. With that out of the way, we now look to win the series versus Houston. And as a matter of fact, we are able to do just that. 3-1 over the Astros. We're 28-23. They're now 29-20. We are 3.5 games back of the Rangers. You might see a little short 2-game set versus them coming up. Guys, you just can't make this up. I have the injury slider and injury settings just on default. Trout has retorn his ACL. I almost think his career might just be over. He might retire at the end of the year just due to health issues. Not sure what we do at this point, but Trout's season has already come to an end. The only, and I genuinely mean only, bright side about this is that I think the injury does halt his regression. I might be wrong about that. So the one positive here, if that is true, is that he will still be an 89 next season. And at this point, for all of the people that really do want me to trade Trout away, I think it has become unrealistic due to his injuries. I don't think there's a team that would be trying to get Mike Trout right now after tearing his ACL in back-to-back seasons. Like, he's good when he's on the field. He was good again this year. He 282, 349. Slugging percentage maybe a little lower than you'd want it, but he was not having a bad year by any means. And he's just torn his ACL again. Man, oh man. That might change things severely. We're going to lose a lot of pop in the offense, and other players are really just going to have to step up. Zach Neto being one of them. He has continued to perform poorly this season. And another thing about this team right now is that the entire bench is cold. It's not just one guy having a bad time off the bench. It's every single one of them. And in fact, only Sam Hilliard is batting over a 200 coming off of the bench. Though I don't know, we do continue to win relatively consistently. And during that 10-game period where we did not have Trout with his minor injury earlier, we did win relatively consistently, except for obviously this 5-game skid at the start of May. Part of me wants to call up Chase DeLauder to get some spark going, bring up one of these younger guys, but he is struggling even down at AA right now, only batting a 213 with a 284 OBP. So that doesn't feel like the right choice considering he's basically as cold as it gets. Nelson Rada would have been another guy I considered, but he has fractured his wrist and was not playing well at AAA prior to that. Guys, I can't believe that I'm saying this. I'm calling up Anthony Rendon to DH. He's pretty undeniably a better bat than anyone on our bench, especially against lefties and especially with that vision and discipline. It's been done. He has been added to the MLB team. That also means that Cutter Coffee, who has been playing really well at AA, gets promoted to AAA. Well, it's very unfortunate, but life must go on. We are back to life without Mike Trout. I found a couple more players I'm interested in perhaps later in the draft. One of those being starting pitcher Andre Dolan. Now, his present numbers admittedly are a bit underwhelming, but he does have high potential and is only 18, and we could probably get him with one of our middle round picks. It is a shame that he only throws 3 pitches as a starting pitcher though. And then the other guy is left fielder Orville Samuel. Looks to be a good fielder with decent speed, reaction, and stealing. Arm needs some work, and the bat is definitely not there yet, but another guy that should have relatively high potential. The good thing about Orville is that he's MLB draft rank 147, so we could get him pretty late in the draft. So can we win this series against the Mets with no Trout? And ultimately, the Angels lose the series against the Mets with no Mike Trout due to a blown save from Ben Joyce. It's been a tough month for Ben. We are going to be hopping into this 2-game set versus the Rangers just as a player lock, so we'll get through it pretty quickly, but this has some serious implications here at still the pretty early portion of the season. We're only a few games back of the Rangers, so if we can manage to steal both games from them, that would be huge for us. It also gives us a chance to look at the farm report, which if you guys haven't seen this before, it basically gives you a news feed of all of your farm prospects, which is super cool. Like for example, we can see that Jason Emerson is performing extremely well right now at AAA, and Dave Williams has continued to play incredibly well at AA. One guy who has been really good though is Cutter Coffee, who has performed really well between AA and AAA so far this season. So we're going to be player locking with Zach Neto today, trying to get him on track. He's only batting a 174 so far this season. He was a red hot at the start of year number 1, and that has completely fallen apart for him. He is easily our best player at this point with no Trout on the team, was rapidly approaching passing Trout as the best player on the team anyway. He's an 87 overall. I fully expect that he'll figure it out and still have some solid numbers by the end of the year, but it is a shame to see one of our best players, if not our best player, struggling to start the season. That is a called strike 3 below the knees. Umpires end this episode hate me. It is Detmers on the mound today. We're out in the field with Neto playing at short. Pitch is on its way. Grounder, of course, to the shortstop. And we will make this throw easily on to Sean Noel at first. Now 1-1 in the top of the 4th. Each team managing to score a run. Neto gets a hold of this one. Pretty well hit to left, but too much underneath it. And that is a 1 pitch out for Zach. Jump forward, it's the top of the 5th. Bases loaded here for Neto. So a real opportunity for some runs. And Neto hits this into right. Will it get down? It does, and it's going to be an RBI for Neto. Another runner rounding third, and he's not going to make it there. I do not know why they sent Mickey Moniak in that case, but hey, we got one more run. Angels will take the lead over the Rangers. Double play opportunity here in the bottom part of the 5th inning. And this one on to second, and then back to first, and we do turn to a 4-6-3. Double play. Back out in the field for the bottom of the 8th. Runner on first. They want us to go to 2 for some reason. Sometimes those quick time events are not the easiest, but we get the play done with Neto. And the Angels will take the first game against the Rangers. So a big victory there. Ends up swinging for the Angels quite a bit in the division. And now in game number 2 of the series, we're going to player lock with You guessed it, Anthony Rendon, back with the major league team for the first time in quite some time. He's been staying healthy. He's been playing really well at AAA, and with the injury, I figure it's time to give him a chance. He is only DHing though, so we won't see him out in the field, and we'll see how he does. His batting stance super far leaned back. Runner on first and second here in the top of the second for Rendon, and I just had to make him look stupid on the first pitch. Rendon over to third, and he is going to be thrown out easily at first to end the second. 1-0 Rangers now here as we enter the top of the fourth. RBI double for Garcia. Rendon, a little blooper, will get over the head of the shortstop. And that is a base knock and an RBI for Rendon, who will tie this game up. And he's pumped about it. Now he is on first for Mickey Moniak, who has continued to be one of the better bats on the team this season. And that will get through the infield and into center. Rendon advances to second. Maybe a little bit of a 2-out rally going here for the Halos. Full count for Nolan Shawnuel, having himself a pretty good season. Has the average up over a 260 right now. This is grounded onto first, should be an easy play. And that will end the top part of the fourth. But the Angels back in it have tied this game up. Castro having a great 2-game series. Another RBI for him, and now Rendon with a runner in scoring position, a runner on first. Angels up 2-1, could extend the lead here in the sixth. Rendon opposite field. That one not going to get down, but it will indeed score the runner from third. So another RBI for Rendon, and the Angels will extend their lead to 2 runs. 3-1, top of the eighth for the DH, Anthony Rendon. Rendon, that one is in on the hands and is going to be caught easily in center field. 1 gone. The Angels will sweep Texas. I know it's only a 2-game series, but hey, 2 victories over the team in second currently in the West is always a good thing. We claw our way back up a little bit more in the standings. We'll take a look at those after this. Really good outing for Jose Soriano, by the way. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, not a single walk, only allowing the 1 run. No hits for Shawnuel, who went 0 for 5. 3 for 3 day, including 2 walks for Nicky Lopez. Neto with a hit. Joe Adell with 2, including a home run, and then Willie Castro with 3, having maybe his best series on the season. So here's how that shakes up the standings in the AL West. The Rangers and Astros are each 1 game back of the Mariners. We are 2.5 back, and now only about a 1.5 games back of the Rangers. Rangers are 3-7 in their last 10, by the way. And you know what? Don't count out the Athletics just yet. I know they're the only team here below 500, but they're not that far off. Only 8.5 games back of the Mariners. Here's the other standings around baseball. The Rays leading the way in the AL East. The Tigers are winning the Central. In the NL, it's the Braves at the top of the NL East. Phillies only a 1.5 games back. Brewers 7 games up on the Cubs in the Central. And the Dodgers are already running away with the West. Only 14 losses on the season for the LA Dodgers. And speaking of those division leading Rays, we do lose game 1 of this series to them. 5-2 win. Jack Hanowicz continues to pitch very well, and we catch a dub over the Rays. And we'll jump into the 3rd game of the series against the formerly known as Devil Rays. They're wearing those Devil Rays uniforms today. I think they look really nice. Aaron Ashby with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, trying to get out of there with still the 1-run lead for the Angels. Pitch to Harrison Bader is fouled. Immediately Ashby's got the count 0-2, and he will not take a hack of that 12-6 curve. The 2-2 pitch on its way. He does take a hack at it. Taylor Ward coming on, and he'll make the grab. And that will end the 7th inning. The lead still intact for the Angels. O'Hoppe with a solo shot extends the lead to 4-2, and the Angels will get yet another victory, continuing to stay over 500. And I do quickly want to highlight how good Joe Adell has been in recent weeks. He was on a 10-game hit streak before losing it against Tampa in the 2nd game of the series. But besides that, he has been on an absolute tear as of late. Several multi-hit games, lots of home runs. runs. We are maybe finally seeing that breakout season from Jo Adell. He is easily having his best year with the 268 average, 332 OBP, 556 slugging, 888 OPS, and 12 home runs on the season. And speaking of which, it is now officially the end of the month. Let's take a look and see how well everyone is performing. Zach Neto's struggles have continued, 176 average on the season, only the 3 home runs. Taylor Ward has continued to just be solid for us. Maybe not quite as good as last year, but still decent. Willie Castro's been red hot as of late, having okay numbers. Jo Adell has been good for us this year. Nicky Lopez, I think, has been serviceable. We brought him in mostly for the defense, not as much for the bat. Sean Noel finally having a better year. Wish he was drawing more walks, though. I was having him lead off because the discipline is so much higher than everyone else on the team, but he's not walking as much as he was last season. Mickey Moniak has been solid. Logan O'Hoppe having a really good year so far. Has a 269 average, a 364 OBP. He is actually walking quite a bit. To Zach Neto's credit, by the way, he does lead the team in walks. So while he may not be hitting very well, he's having good at bats. Taylor Ward second with 26, O'Hoppe with 25. Leader in slugging is Jo Adell with a 556, and a leader in OPS is also Jo Adell with an 887. Taylor Ward and Logan O'Hoppe the next closest to him. But then a strike against Neto is that he's also leading the team in strikeouts with 53. Jo Adell leads the team in doubles and in triples, and then is also leading the team in WAR. I think we may actually truly be seeing the breakout of Jo Adell. As for the pitching staff, most of our starters have been solid. Lucchese's whip is still a little high. Aaron Ashby's been good. Detmers is coming a little bit back down to earth. We got to give him a tiny bit more time as he did not start the season with the major league team. Kahanowicz has been incredible. Very, very good. Probably our best starter this season. Miguel Castro's been bad out of the bullpen. Quijada has actually turned his numbers around a lot. Whip is still probably a touch high, but honestly, very good numbers. Ben Joyce has really struggled as of late. His recent performances as a closer have been really, really bad, blowing, I think, 3 saves in the last 2 weeks. Hans Kraus is still playing well after getting called up to the majors, though he's only pitched 5 innings. Moretta has been good, Brogdon has been good, and Silseth has been horrible. So really, the main guys I think that have been bad are Detmers, Castro, and Silseth. A quick prospect spotlight for you is Christian Moore. And I think ordinarily when you hear spotlight, you might think it's going to be a good thing, but no, the guy has been really bad at AA even. And he's a 65 overall. There's maybe some major league teams that he could play for. And no matter where I put him, he just struggles. He's not improving particularly quickly. His contact against lefties and power against lefties is coming up pretty dramatically this season. But I don't know, the more I see him and the more I see him struggle, the more I'm thinking that maybe he's a guy we include in a trade package to get some different prospects. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think. We found a couple new players in scouting. One shortstop that I'm really particularly interested in is Alexis Chavez, another guy that is not ranked with likely high potential, and he can play second and third base as well as shortstop. Do wish he was a better fielder with a better arm, being that he plays short, but he can always be moved to second base. And honestly, if we're looking for guys late in the draft, I think it is oftentimes better to find these higher potential, not ranked guys. And then there's a closing pitcher in Richie Batista. Now, I guess there is theoretically a chance he is better than Jason Emerson in terms of the potential. I would prefer if he was a lefty. I really think we need lefty bullpen help more than righty, but it never hurts to find these guys. So I went ahead and simmed about a week and a half into the month of June. The Angels are now 40-30. Went on a nice little stretch of wins here to start the month and then have been kind of back and forth ever since, including losing a series to the division rival Houston Astros. We are half a game back of the Astros and 3 games back of the Rangers, who have now overtaken first, as the Mariners are 2-8 in their last 10, really struggling now. Now, we are far enough into the season where we might start to see some development from some of our rookies, one of those being Jason Emerson, and he is developing quite nicely, and he is continuing to play pretty well at AAA, definitely some above average stats here. He does have 5 blown saves on the season to only 1 save. Now, I'm pretty sure they're using him as the closer. I will go double check that that is in fact the case. Actually, no, they are not. They're using Jose Suarez as the closer for some reason. So let me flip that and let's see if Emerson can perform a little bit better as the true closer. George Klassen, a guy we want to keep an eye on. He's performing pretty well at AA, has had a couple bad starts as of late, however, is on a bit of a cold spell. Caden Dana, who started the year with the MLB team, is down at AAA now, has some pretty standard numbers there, I would say. And then Dave Williams, who we highlighted in the last episode is continuing to just be very, very good at AA. Should probably look to see him at AAA here pretty soon. Maybe after the All-Star break, we'll move him up. Now, our number one prospect, according to the MLB, is Reggie Jenkins, who we obviously know is years and years away from being major league ready, but he is improving at a relatively rapid rate down there at single A right now. The thing about single A is that it does guarantee improvement, as there is no performance-based stats at all, but it also kind of halts what would be his actual improvement if he was playing well at AA. Because if he was playing well at AA, we could see some huge improvements. The concern is that he would just be horrible wherever he plays right now. Similar situation for Kevin Vasquez, though he is closer and closer to actually being ready to play at AA. Also, when he does finally get to play, I think he's going to have to be a corner outfielder instead of a center fielder, as his throwing arm is just not good. Another starting pitcher prospect that looks pretty promising, Hank Kutch from the Netherlands, has jumped up to 42 on our draft board. Still need to scout him a little bit more. And he is the draft rank 84, and we have the 84th overall pick. So that could work out really nicely, as currently my plan is still to take Eric J with that number 9 pick and then Juan Chavez at number 46. Now, this is a big time 4-game series coming up against the Rangers, and one that I do think I want to highlight a little bit more. So I think that I'm going to end the episode here, and we're going to open that next episode with the series versus the Rangers. So that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you like this pace where it's a bit faster. Although if we are still hanging around about 10 games above 500 after the trade deadline, we might slow the season down a little bit and see if we can make that playoff push. I know obviously it's going to be with no Mike Trout now that he has torn his ACL, but this team is still playing well enough that maybe they could be a surprise wild card team. Remains to be seen though. As always, shout out to the channel members. You guys are the reasons I continue to make videos, and if you want to become a channel member, you can do so by hitting the join button down below for as low as $1 per month. And if you do also find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It does help me out a lot, and I will see you guys in the next episode where the Angels look to maintain form but without Mike Trout.